anyways, I'm starting with the front of my brow. I like a really crisp front of the brow. It's just my 2016 makeup culture. And then I just fill in any spots that are a little sparse, and that kind of makes it all come together. Like, I just follow the natural shape of my brow, and I try to create, a more intense arch because I think that looks, flattering for my face shape. I do want to get into like a straight Korean brow one day because I do think it's a really cute look, but my brows are not naturally that straight, so it'd be kind of hard to create that look. But I do think that's such a sweet, like, dolly, youthful look. It's like a thick, straight brow. Honestly, now looking at my brow, I'm wondering if it's like too arched. Let me know if you think that my brows could use a little bit of tweaking with this shape, or what you think would be flattering on me. Okay, so now I'm taking the Benefit Brow Wax. This is just a clear brow wax, and I'm running this all through my brows. I don't think this is the strongest brow wax ever, but I do enjoy this product, just because it doesn't leave my brows, hard, crispy, whatever you want to call it. I feel like they still look really natural, but I do notice that my hairs do fall throughout the day. I don't think it's the strongest hold ever, so just keep that in mind if you have really coarse hair. But the packaging's super cute as well. So as you can see, I'm just being really diligent, trying to get the product through every single hair. And I always use that up and out motion for a fluffier look. Up and out, up and out, up and out. Alright, now that I'm done with the brows, I'm gonna do, I guess my first round of setting spray. I use a lot of setting spray. That's the trick for me to getting your makeup to melt into your skin and look, as natural as possible. But this is just the regular version of the Morphe setting spray. There's like a dewy one and a matte one. I don't trust those. Just the regular one. And I'm letting that dry. Also, another tangent I will go on. They have increased the price of that setting spray so much. I swear that setting spray used to be like maybe $10. Maybe I'm tripping. $10 to $13. $13 max. Okay. Now it's like $17. What? I don't understand. Like, it's a really good setting spray, but it's like nothing like high-end or special. I don't understand why they increased the price, but anyway, this is my Morphe nude palette that my boyfriend got me, and I tried to fix the shattered shades, and it works just fine, even though it's not I'm wearing uniform curl throughout the lash, and they're not just sticking straight up. You know what I'm saying? Also, I got a new curler because this one is so old. I think this one was. It wasn't Tweezerman. I think it was like a Real Techniques one or something like that. But it was this was a really good curler for a while. I feel like those we have as women or as people in general who do makeup, you have some things that you cannot let go of. Like everyone has that one brush you've had since like middle school. You've had that one tool that you will not replace, like your pencil sharpener or something. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now onto mascara. I have really fallen in love with this mascara. I do not understand ever the need to get a high-end mascara unless it really blows your socks off, or you're loyal to a certain brand. But a Maybelline mascara is gonna do it for me every time. Every time. This is the waterproof version so that it doesn't run underneath my eyes and it can hold a curl. I always get waterproof mascara. And this I actually tried a long time ago and I didn't give it a fair shot because I think I got just the regular one and I was just pissed that it ran down my eye and my lower lash line, my lower lash line, my lower lash line. But the waterproof one is the way to go. I also learned from Douse on TikTok that you really shouldn't focus the mascara at the base of your lashes, because that just weighs down your lashes, and to actually make the most impact in terms of length is to really focus on the mid-lengths and the tips of your eyelashes for, a more, like a longer effect. And ever since I stopped trying to get so much product at the roots of my lashes, I think it's made the biggest difference. So I'm going through all of my lashes, really trying to get some product on the very ends of my lashes for a full cat eye effect. And I put on multiple coats of mascara. As you can see, I have very short, straight lashes naturally, and wearing falsies does not help, obviously. So I gotta really work for this shit. Also, I have a lot of sympathy for my fellow Asian girls who have more skin and more fat on their upper eyelids or have monolids. I don't have monolids, but I have a very thick eyelid that gets in the way of everything, so I have to be really diligent about putting on mascara, or else I'll accidentally get product all over my eye and ruin my eyeshadow. Alright, going in with the Cheek Stars Benefit Cheek Palette. Unfortunately, I don't think that they produce this anymore. I got this years ago at a Sephora around Christmas. This was a little more of an expensive purchase. I think it was around $65 or $70. But you do get these full pans of cheek products, 2 blushes, or no, 3 blushes, a highlighter, and a bronzer. So I'm just taking the more rosy shade that has like multiple colors in it.